Have you ever caught yourself yawning just from watching someone else yawn? Maybe it happened at work, maybe in class, maybe it's happening right now, just from reading this. And the weird part is, you weren't even tired. Stick with me, because the real explanation for this is way stranger than you think, and there's a part of it almost nobody ever tells you. Yawning seems like one of the most boring things a body can do. Dogs yawn, cats yawn, lions yawn, chimps yawn. Even snakes yawn to reset their jaw after a big meal. Penguins yawn as part of their mating display. You've probably heard the classic explanation. You yawn because you're tired, because your brain needs more oxygen. You take a deep breath, your blood fills up with oxygen, and that's the whole story. That's the version basically everyone grew up hearing. Except it's wrong. But I promise you, there's something hidden here nobody ever told you about. The oxygen idea has actually been challenged pretty hard by science. Newer research points somewhere completely different. Yawning might really be your body's way of cooling down your brain. Think about it like this. The more tired you get, the hotter your brain runs. And an overheated brain doesn't work as well. So a yawn kicks in almost like a built-in radiator. The cold air you pull in cools the blood flowing near your head, and that helps bring your brain back to its ideal temperature. There's an experiment that backs this up in a pretty direct way. Researchers had volunteers wear a pack on their head while watching videos of people yawning. With a warm pack on, 41% of people yawned along. With a cold pack on, that number dropped to just 9%. Hot head, more yawning. Cold head, way less. That alone changes the whole story. But it still doesn't explain the strangest part of all. Why do you yawn just from watching someone else do it? This is where the science gets a lot murkier. For years, the go-to explanation was empathy. The idea was simple. You watch someone yawn, your brain simulates what that person is feeling, and you end up copying the gesture without even meaning to. That checks out at first glance. Studies show people are more likely to catch a yawn from someone close to them than from a stranger. Family first, then close friends, then acquaintances, and strangers dead last. Dogs follow almost the same pattern. Pet dogs yawn up to 5 times more often when the yawn comes from their own owner than from someone they've never met. One study had researchers play recordings for dogs in their own homes, the owner yawning, a stranger yawning, and even a yawn sound played backward, just to rule out coincidence. The dogs never yawned at the backward sound, but they yawned the most at their own owner's voice. Feels like solid proof that empathy is the answer, right? There's even a set of brain cells that seem to back this up. They're called mirror neurons. They fire when you do something, when you watch someone else do it, and even when you just hear someone talk about it. It's like your brain is quietly simulating the other person's action from the inside. And kids with empathy-related conditions, like autism, tend to yawn less while watching videos of people yawning, which seems to strengthen that emotional connection theory. Except it's not that simple. One study tested contagious yawning triggered by watching dogs and cats yawn in nearly 100 people. And when researchers measured each participant's empathy score, it didn't predict who ended up yawning more or less. There's an even bigger wrinkle. In an experiment with almost 300 people, they watched fish yawn, amphibians yawn, reptiles yawn, birds yawn, even primates yawn. 69% of them caught a yawn at some point. And it didn't seem to matter how closely related the animal was to humans. Your brain doesn't even need to recognize this is something like me for it to react. And it goes even further than that. Chimpanzees yawned just from watching a humanoid android yawn. A robot. No blood, no emotion for empathy to latch onto at all. So maybe your brain isn't really thinking this person is tired, let me feel what they feel. Maybe it's just picking up on a movement pattern, something that mattered way too much to ignore for millions of years. And that's where the most interesting theory of all comes in. Picture a group of early humans, long before any city ever existed. Someone spots danger nearby and yawns. The rest of the group yawns back, basically saying, "Got it, I'm watching too." Everyone locks into the same state of alertness at the same time. That would explain why we're way more likely to catch a yawn from people we actually spend time around. It's not really about feeling someone else's emotion. It's about syncing the whole group to the same level of alert. Scientists spotted something similar watching wild lions in South Africa. After yawning in sequence, the lions started moving in sync, almost like that shared yawn had fired the starting gun for the whole pride to act together. The same pattern shows up in African wild dogs. Researchers tracked over 1,300 yawns across 10 of these animals. And the longer two of them spent physically close to each other, the more likely one dog's yawn was to trigger the others. But before locking this in as the final answer, there's an important counterpoint. Not every social species does this. One recent study tested gallas, a type of parrot that's extremely social, and found zero evidence of contagious yawning between them. If this were just some universal rule for any animal that lives in a group, everyone would be catching yawns from each other. And that's clearly not what's happening. So the most honest answer, right now, is that there's still no single locked-in explanation. There are over 20 different theories trying to explain yawning, and most of them only agree on one thing. It seems tied to some kind of shift in alertness, whether that's happening inside one body or across an entire group. Here's a detail almost nobody knows. Babies actually start yawning while still in the womb, as early as the second trimester of pregnancy. But they don't catch yawns from other people. That doesn't start until around age 4 or 5. Right around the same time, kids start developing a sense of belonging to a group and picking up on other people's emotions. So your very first yawn showed up all on its own. The first yawn you ever caught from somebody else came a lot later. So next time you catch a yawn just from watching someone else do it on your screen, remember, that's not tiredness. That's not weakness. And it might not even be empathy exactly. It might be a mechanism way older than you are. One you share with lions, with dogs, with chimpanzees, and one that might exist to keep an entire group, human or not, running on the same rhythm. If you made it this far and caught at least one yawn, drop it in the comments. That's proof this video does exactly what it promised. And if you're into understanding the hidden side of the most ordinary things around you, hit subscribe, because that's exactly what we do here every single week. Obvious only looks obvious until you understand that the yawn you just had might have crossed millions of years of evolution just to reach you.